Face the Nation yesterday. They always called in John McCain. I thought John was dying. I thought he was dying. Put up John McCain, Face the Nation yesterday. I mean, yesterday John McCain's on there because they obviously got to go always good. And I thought he was dying. I mean, I thought they flew him in on a special jet. I thought they had round-the-clock nurses. I thought he was so brave when he flew in from Arizona to give the thumbs down on repealing Obamacare. I thought they brought him in on a stretcher and everything. I mean, there was the bravery of this man all that weekend. Well, hell, now his ass is sitting upright just on Face the Nation, you know, being the globalist and the George Soros friend that he's always been. Just had to throw that in there. Rex Tillerson's on there. There is room, wiggle room, folks, in the Paris Climate Accords when Donald Trump said that. Remember, don't forget, Rex Tillerson talking about North Korea. We've exhausted them. We're diplomatic. He gave his 3 points, okay? He gave his 3 points of, it's 4 points, and Rex Tillerson, I had that in here. The Paris Climate Accord, let's see, peace for pressure campaign, okay? Peace for pressure campaign, all right? And yesterday, what I thought was interesting, you notice that when it comes to the Iran deal, we're trying to get out of the Iranian deal. We really are. We need to get out of the Iranian deal. It's a bad deal. Everybody knows. But this week, you're going to hear that they are technically complying. Oh, my God, get me the nitro. I mean, I need one under the tongue right now. I swear to God, my heart's about to stop. I mean, technically complying. Tillerson said they're technically in compliance. Now, it's interesting, but over on the other network on ABC, when McMaster was being interviewed by George Stephanopoulos, the claymation doll, George said, but Iran, are they not technically in compliance? Right? Now, hold that there just a minute because I want to pull that up, what you just did. So that was Tillerson on CBS. Now, you went somewhere, which I'm glad you did, but you went so. Trump administration seeks to avoid withdrawal from Paris Climate Accord. International climate officials say. Trump administration officials said Saturday that the U.S. would pull out, that the U.S. wouldn't pull out of the Paris Agreement, offering to re-engage in the international deal to fight climate change. Now, don't you think it's interesting about this time when the hurricanes came through, it seems to be a convenient, like Al Gore would say, an inconvenient truth. Is this an inconvenient truth that the globalists and the climate change people and the Paris Accord, wouldn't this be played up at exactly the right time? Now, the Trump administration and the White House are denying this. Now, you remember, but Trump left wiggle room, folks, when he said he was pulling out of the Paris Climate Accord. He said that they would renegotiate the terms because it's like we stop. It's real simple, all right? I mean, people are going to say you can't make it that simple. We stop everything. We have stopped our manufacturing. We have stopped everything. We stop all of our carbon emissions, God forbid, all right? We even cut down all the trees so they'll stop emitting carbon. Don't they do that also by nature? I just wondered, okay? But anyhow, we'll stop all the carbon emissions, okay? Period. And we will let China and India and all of them catch up. We will let them catch up. And when they catch up, they'll stop too. But we'll give them a chance to get on that equal playing field. Just, it's a weird solution. But that being said, the president said, we'll renegotiate this. It wasn't the French president that said, no. Where's Pepe Le Pew? We need Pepe Le Pew. The French president said, no renegotiation, Donald. And that's not French. I can't do French, okay? But anyhow, so no renegotiation. So what if they're saying they're renegotiating? Is that the wiggle? So watch the Paris Climate Accords. Okay. Is there anything I left out today? I have those other two pictures. I don't want to use them. All right? Don't want to use them, okay? And here's one I want to leave you with. Show's not over, but Trump voters are not listening. When they said, pull up Laura Ingraham one more time. I want to close with this today. Laura Ingraham and Laura Ingraham.
I'm looking for them. We had a lot of visuals today.
Yeah, I know. I want Laura and Rush. Now, I think everything's set up for the 2018 election. That's what I think. Everything's set up for the 2018 election.
There's Rush, still looking for Laura.
I think I did Laura because it's on Meet the Press. I think MTP is the first thing. Okay? But here's Rush wanting to know if. Here's Rush wanting to know. Well, that's okay.
There's Laura.
Right. Rush wanted to know if, you know, the president's tone deaf. Laura wanted to know, could he chant, "We'll build samples of the wall"? All right? The point is they were saying Trump voters are not listening to Breitbart. This is what they were saying on the Sunday shows. Trump voters are not listening to Breitbart because they were talking about all of the right, far right, being upset with Trump over DACA. This could be Trump 2.0. 2018, Trump 2.0. Wonder who's been talking about that. I have. Folks, Trump cannot do this in 8 years. There's things you don't like that he's doing. Okay? But you knew he was a Manhattan liberal. In a lot of ways, the day he came down that escalator, I knew he was from Manhattan. I knew he hung out with some liberal people in Manhattan. I knew he was a New Yorker, okay? But I'll tell you what, he's a businessman first and foremost, and he knows what it took, what happened in this country, and how this country was once as great as it. Let me get past that. So, they say, well, wait a minute. They won't listen to Laura. Trump's voters won't listen to Laura Ingraham. Trump's voters won't listen to Rush Limbaugh. Trump's voters won't listen to Breitbart. Breitbart is fielding candidates, folks. Fielding candidates. And you're going to try to figure out. I think there's a method to this madness. I got to give my friend Frank the shout out. Trump's playing chess. They're all playing checkers. I think there's a method. You cannot figure out why is Donald Trump going to Alabama to campaign for Luther Strange, a Mitch McConnell protege? Why? Just last week he doesn't like Mitch. Why? Why is he not down there for a candidate that would seem to resemble more a Donald Trump candidate, Roy Moore? Former Alabama Chief Supreme Court Justice Roy Moore, the Ten Commandments guy. Why? Breitbart is supporting Roy Moore. Okay? I think he's, 10, 12 points up in the polls. Is that election tomorrow? And he's going today. All right? And what if Roy Moore wins and Donald Trump goes today to Alabama, the great place where Jeff Sessions first joined him on stage and put on the little short guy, put on that white cap? And the candidate that Trump endorses loses. What will that say? I'll tell you what it says when the media says, hey, they won't listen to Laura Ingraham. They won't listen to Breitbart. They won't listen to Rush. They won't listen to BKP. I'll tell you exactly what it is. Donald Trump is pushing, if you plan, and you are a conservative, and you plan to run, it is now, because Donald Trump is pushing his supporters into those camps. Pushing them. And they will listen to Breitbart, and they will listen to Laura Ingraham, and they will listen to Rush. And Donald Trump's pushing him there. And guess what? Last week was the Great Awakening. Right? We can't let the Trump supporters get complacent. We can't let the Trump supporters get comfortable. We can't let them get sleepy. We can't say, oh, our man is elected, the swamp is drained. We can't do that. Steve Bannon told you this is a 20-year counter offense to a 50-year situation. The swamp is a successful business model. This is not a drain the swamp is not a Donald Trump by himself, okay? Now, you know, Donald Trump, he's not going to be there when we finish the swamp draining. Not going to be there. I mean, we're going to have to bring in, let's use the whole thing. Let's use the visual. I don't know if you ever use the old sump pump or throw the pump in a flood and it gets clogged up and it burns up the motor. Or you have a motor. Hey, look, we're going to go through a couple pumps in this swamp. We're going to go through several people operating. We're going to go hoses with a leak that we got to replace. Just think the whole thing out. So I'm telling you right now, they have re-energized the Trump voter. They have re-energized the core. They have pushed the core. It was the Great Awakening last week. Great Awakening took place last week for the Trump voter, the conservative, the real conservative Republican, and it is time. I think you're going to see seats like Charlie Dent. That is a Tuesday group. We'll go on more on that later in Pennsylvania. You're going to see a Roy Moore go to Washington, D.C. Instead of a Luther Strange. You're going to see conservatives. What did I tell you the other day? And I want to end with this because I got one more thing. I got some pictures I want to show. I am okay if we do not change the number of seats in the House at all. I do not want to get up Wednesday morning in the 2018 election and hear some George Stephanopoulos or Joe Scarborough or facelift Minka say to me, the Republicans gained seats. Gained seats, okay? I don't want to hear how many seats we gained the next morning. I want to hear how many Republicans are gone that are actually Democrats, moderates, liberals, Tuesday group. I want to hear how many Republicans are gone and replaced with conservative Republicans to add on to the numbers we need to drain the swamp. That's what I want to hear.